Hello and welcome to Animal Reserve. This is Challenge 5. This is an on your own problem, so you should have solved the entire problem on your own, and now you're watching this video just to make sure you did everything correctly. Without further ado, let us move on to our scenario. You are trying to protect a family of mallard ducks. They like to swim around in this lake right here. Their home is in the polygon shown below. In order to protect this animal reserve, you must solve for the area of their home, this area right here. Now, the measurements are all right here. This is 5.5 kilometers. This from here to here is another 5.5 kilometers. And from this crossing point here up here is 3.5 kilometers. And you notice this box here represents a right angle or a perpendicular angle. And if this is a 90-degree angle, then this has to be a 90-degree angle because this is a straight line, and 90 plus 90 would give you 180, which is indeed a straight line. Now, the other thing is that then this also has to be a right angle because when two lines intersect, the opposite angles are the same, are congruent. So if this is 90, then this has to be 90. So this would also be a 90-degree angle. Let's just go ahead and make a little square there for that. 90, bam. And this we know is also 90. And then once again, if this is 90, since this is a straight line, we have to know that this also would be a 90-degree angle. Let's go ahead and bam, just do that right now. Superb. So now, when we're figuring out for the area of a triangle, which is right here, we are going to use the formula of base times height divided by 2. Now, if we do this, the base is here, and the height is here, and then divided by 2. So if you notice, this triangle is going to be the exact same because this is still 5.5 for the base, for this top one and for this one, and the height for the top one is 3.5, and lo and behold, down here, it's also 3.5. So these would be the exact same answer. Now, if you notice, this is also the same because this is 5.5, the same as this over here, and the height, once again, is 3.5. So this triangle will have the exact same area as this one and as this one. And once again, this one will also, because the base is here at 5.5 kilometers, and the height is once again 3.5 kilometers. So this will have the same area as all of the other triangles. Now that's kind of cool because what it means is I can solve for one triangle here and get the area of that and then just multiply it by 4, and I will have the entire polygon area. The other thing I could do is, since a triangle is half of a square, I could just forget about the triangle formula and just go base times height, right? Which would give me these two triangles, right? And if you think about it, if I take this triangle here and I flip it around, it would go, let me just show you how it would end up. It would go straight here and then down here. And this triangle would turn into this one if it was flipped over. That's a little ugly, but that's the idea, right? Which would give you one full rectangle, which would be base times height. And then if you had that, you could just multiply it by 2 to get these two, and you'd have your answer. Either way is fine. I'm going to get rid of this first. Alrighty, I did that. And now I'm going to use the strategy of solving for this triangle right here and then multiplying that by 4. So let's go ahead and enlarge this. And the first thing I'm going to do is simply write my formula for a triangle, which is A equals base times height divided by 2. And now I'm going to simply plug in my base, which is 5.5. So I'll write A equals 5.5, and then I'll multiply that times my height, right, which is 3.5. So I'll write 3.5 right there, and then that whole thing gets divided by 2. Let's go ahead and do that math right now. I'm going to move this over here and do the math right here. So I've got 5.5, let's put 5.5 right there, times 3.5, right? And 5 times 5 is going to give me 25. I'll drop my 5 and carry my 2. 5 times 5 is going to give me 25 again, plus this 2 is going to give me 27. I'll drop the 7 and the 2, and now I'm going to drop a 0, put an X in it. And then 3 times 5 is going to give me 15. I'll drop the 5 and carry the 1. And 3 times 5 is 15. Once again, I'll add that 1, and that's going to give me 16. And now I can simply add these up. 5 and nothing is going to give me 5. 7 and 5 is going to give me 12. I'll drop the 2, carry the 1. And now I've got 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 6 is going to give me 9. So I'll drop my 9 right there. And then 1 and nothing is 1. Now I've got one loop-a-doop here, a second loop-a-doop here. So I got to go one loop-a-doop, two loop-a-doop, and my decimal goes right there. And I'm going to end up with 19.25. So let's go ahead and write that in here. I'm going to enlarge this so it's easier to write. And I'm going to go area equals 19.25. And that's all divided by 2. Let's double check and make sure I wrote that correctly. Yes, I had 19.25 right there. Alrighty, so now as a side note, I could, if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that, I could take that 19.25, and that's actually the area of this triangle plus this triangle, because I've got two triangles, and if I divided them by 2, I would get just this one. I hope that makes sense to you. So I could take this 19.25, double it for these two, and I would get my answer. However, I said I was going to go with the strategy of solving this one triangle right here and then multiplying by 4. So now I do need to take 19.25 and divide it by 2. Alrighty, and here we go. So I've got the old 19.25 divided by 2, and I took my decimal and I put it right up on top right away. And now I'm going to see how many times 2 can go into. First, I'll start with, it cannot go into 1, so I'll start with 19. And 2 will go in there 9 times, and I'll put my 9 there. 2 times 9 is going to give me 18, and then I'm going to subtract, and I get 1 because 9 minus 8 is going to give me 1. I drop my 2 and my 5 down, so I'll just make a little arrow here for my 2, and another arrow here for my 5. And now I've got to ask myself, hey, how many times can 2 go into 12? And that'll go in there 6 times, so I'm going to write a 6 right here. And 6 times 2 is going to give me 12. Exactly. Super. And that's going to zero out, so I can simply drop my 5, and I'll get my 5 right there. And I'm going to extend this line a little bit. And now 2 can go into 5 2 times, so I'll write a 2 right there. And 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. And when I subtract, I get 1. And then I have run out of numbers here, or digits, right? So I've got to add a 0. So I'm going to add a 0 right here and drop that bad boy. And that gives me 10. And then 2 times 5 will give me 10. That's an ugly 5, but that is a 5. And 10 minus 10 will zero out. And right here is your answer for the area here. So let's go ahead and write that down. I'm going to enlarge this. And then right here, the area equals, and it is 9.625 kilometers squared. Bam! Love that. Now, that is only, however, for this one triangle here, right? Exactly. So now I have to take this number and multiply it by 4. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to do that. Where am I going to do that? Now, I'll tell you where I'm going to do it. Right there, my friends. All right, that is the decision I made. Superb. All right, and here we go. I've got 4 times 5 is going to give me 20. I'll drop my 0, carry my 2 right there. Bam. Next, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is going to give me 10. I'll drop another 0, carry my 1 right there. Bam. Next, 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is going to give me 25. I'll drop my 5 and carry my 2 right there. And now, my last one is 4 times 9 is 36 plus 2 is going to give me 38. So I drop my 3 and my 8. And now I just have to count my loopy-doops. I got 1 loopy-doop, 2 loopy-doop, 3 loopy-doop. So I'll start over here. 1 loopy-doop, 2 loopy-doop, and 3 loopy-doop. My decimal goes right there. So right here for the total area. So let me just write that down. Total area. And that's sloppy writing. But it equals 38.5. And this is kilometers squared. Bam. Let's do it again. 38.5 kilometers squared. And I did that because I kind of ran out of room here. It was just kind of messy. Alrighty, just to review real quickly, we solved for this triangle over here. You can't see all of it. Let's shrink that a little bit. We solved for this triangle right here and discovered that it was 9.625. And then we multiplied by 4 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles, right? But I had also said that if we didn't do this division here, dividing by 2, then we would have had this triangle plus this triangle, which would have been the rectangle that would have been, if we put them together, it'd be up here, right? Now, what if we just took 19.25 and multiplied it by 2, or did repeated addition, right? And we just did 19.25 plus 19.25. Let's do that right now. 19.25 plus 19.25. And that's really just adding these two triangles with these two triangles, right? And if we do that, we get right here, you can see 5 plus 5 is going to give me 10. I'm going to drop that 0, carry that 1. And then here I got 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Bam. And then I'm going to drop my decimal because that's important. And then I got 9 plus 9, which is 18. So I'm going to drop my 8 and carry my 1. And then I got 3 ones. That's pretty simple. That's going to give me 3. And that is kilometers squared. And as you see, this right here agrees with what we have written over here of 38.5 kilometers squared. So either way you solved it is fine. However, I will say, like I always say, if you made a mistake anywhere along the way, no worries at all, my friend. Pause that video, fix that mistake. That is your fastest way to learn. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day. And I never did say this, so let's say it right now. Your Mallard ducks, the area is 38.5 kilometers right here in this. I know I said it, but not specifically. Anyway, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.